Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the flip through of this Christmas table book journal. So yesterday we stopped at this page. I had to make 2 parts because it's such a chunky book and I didn't want to miss anything. So going back to the book, we have, so here we have a pocket, just a little tuck actually, and there's some like vintage writing paper taken from a vintage school notebook. There's some wrapping paper and some advertisement from La Vie à la Campagne, Life in Countryside. It's actually a vintage French magazine, and so you have a part of the cover here. This is a postcard from a museum, I believe. And so then we have this Komos, which is a little advertisement card, and this one is for the company Liebig, and I believe it's antique. So there's this piece of ephemera, of authentic ephemera. Lots of sari trims here and there. This is a letter, a note that was sent to a notary, written in 1963, and I just love the writing. It's so pretty. So there's that, and this is just a part of a vintage English magazine, English learning magazine, and I just put this for your collages, or it was green, so and vintage, so I thought it went well in this book. Here we have a very large envelope that I attached on some fabric and then sew it into the journal. And there's actually some goodies inside, I believe. And first you have this vintage, it's not French, it's English stationery piece. And then you have some large vintage photographs. I believe these are from the 70s. So there's that inside the large pocket. So moving on to the next page, we have here a few things clipped here. There's this little CD pocket that I received in a Happy Mail, and I just filled it with some French vintage labels. So there's some wine label on the back, and then some cosmetic perfume label. There's an authentic telegram from Belgium. It's a vintage piece. A red stationery envelope. This piece of this is a book page which shows some ephemera dated from I believe it's the first World War, maybe the second. Let me check. Yeah, the second. I'm sorry. And this is just a vintage envelope. I glued some stamp on it, and then inside I have a few postcards. So there's this embossed English one. It's antique. It's beautiful writing on the back. There's this one, which is it's a advertisement card. It's antique as well, for wine and liquors. And then this beautiful vintage French postcard. Moving on to the next page, we have, this is a beautiful paper that was coffee stained. And this is a shop that I recently discovered on Etsy. She's making those patterns with coffee dyed, with coffee. And so I think it's gorgeous, and I bought a pack with different designs on it. This one has birds, and I just added some gold leaf, and I put this piece it was a protector on a postcard album page, and I put it in here onto this page because it feels like the coffee stains, well, not anymore, but at first it felt a little bit sticky, so I didn't want this to go on this page. Next we have, this is actually a flap. Where was it? Okay, I'll figure that out later. But this is a flap with some vintage French fabric. And you have some gorgeous heather from Rose Hill paper, beautiful handmade paper. And these are some other eco-dyed Rolodex card made by Pamela at Austin Paper Tree. And I just added some Victorian cutouts, die cuts, sorry. And these are authentic. And here's just a vintage Japanese pharmacy label, I believe. I got it from a shop on Etsy called Panrora. On this side, you can write here if you'd like to. It's just a piece of, this was taken from a booklet, an antique booklet. And I just added some beautiful sari trim and some scraps. And then we have this antique photo postcard with these two ladies. So beautiful. It's dated from 1916. Moving on to this page, I just clipped some fabrics here. This is a heavy upholstery fabric, and I believe it was initially curtains, was made into curtains when I bought these. And they have the fleur de lis onto the fabric, and then there's this sari piece as well. And yeah, I think that was just sitting here. I'm not sure now, but this is just a vintage French postcard from the 50s. Here we have a booklet with plenty of small, it's not postcards, it's thinner, it's just some images, illustrations from Alfred University, Alfred, New York. So you have beautiful pictures on front and back of the pages. And some blank ledger paper. This one is vintage. Just collaged some bits here. On this side we have just a little bit of velvet here, some collage piece, and this is a book page from this antique magazine called Ephemera. So this woman's magazine, and they always have the most beautiful images and like illustrations and photographs, like pictures, and yeah, I just put one that I thought was gorgeous. So it's just sitting here and clipped onto this piece. There's some vintage French prayer cards and like a calendar page, and this is like a morning card. You recognize it with the black borders. So next we have, this is from a French book, and there's this vintage postcard. It says Happy New Year. A little bit of collage here. Moving on to this side, I just glued some scrap pieces here on this side, and some I just glued on the side here, so you know, it's just a little bit it's just fun. And I tucked a Denison label here, and here you can actually open this up as well, and then just a little greeting card and some vintage lace. On this side we have this piece of ephemera here. I got it from Cassie at Dusty Roses. It's like this very like almost transparent paper. And then clipped here, there's just a journaling card, some piece of ephemera that is dated from 1949. It looks a little bit like these old wrappers, you know, those letters that were folded and sent as envelopes. So there's that, and here's just an illustration. It's a photograph of this statue. And there's also the back, which is interesting. Some artwork. I love to add those into my journals. Then on this side, actually this piece here, this paper was attached to, again, a piece of fabric that is sewn into the journal. And at the end I just sewn this little button. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So that's just hanging here. And then here I just clipped this page that is from this book, like a calendar book from Les Grands Magasins du Louvre. So there's this piece here, and then on this side we have book plates. This was a little plate that I got in a Happy Mail, and I thought it was cute because it's hand drawn. This was initially part of a notary document cover, so it was just falling apart, so I used it as a page, and it has this nice thickness to it. But so a little bit of trim here, some pieces of ephemera, all French. I made this fun journaling card here, and this is an antique prayer card, a French one. It's dated from 1891. So there's that. I hope you don't mind that I'm not putting any music on these on my latest videos. I usually tend to put to maybe talk and then put some music. Ooh. But yeah, I don't know. I just let me know what you prefer. On this page we have again another calendar book page. This one is vintage, you can tell. I just collaged some washi and a little bit of a piece of ephemera that I got from Donkey Journals, I think, on Instagram, and I will put her name down below. This is just a washi, so you can remove that. It's from a French history book. Here on the side, just a little, a little doily, sorry. And then this is a repair tag. This actually, this I not thrifted. I went on a brocante. It was, I think it was 2 years ago. I went to Sicile, and yeah, I went on flea markets and brought back this home. I mean, I had a bunch of these, but this is my last one. So that's a special little thing here. It's a souvenir from a trip I made 2 years ago with my parents. This is some wrapping paper, Japanese wrapping paper, and I just tucked it because it was green. And this is some very thin paper for your collages, and just some random piece of, this is a book, this is a page, well, this is actually from an old booklet from the post office, La Poste. It's dated from the 70s, and it has some explanations about this particular stamp. So I thought it was fun to include. Then on this side we have this little tuck, and this is a handmade paper with some flower petals. It's really pretty. An antique like photograph cards. I don't know if you can see that it's really it has those little stains here and this gorgeous embossing. Another page from Le Magazine Féminin. this beautiful lady and those old advertisements. This is a page from the book that is in the front pocket that is called Noël and Christmas. It's from this magazine. So there's that. And then on this side, up goes like this. These are just some 2 pages from an antique. No, it's not antique, sorry, it's vintage. It's from the 40s. It's a ledger, so you have one with writing and one blank, so you can write on it. Then here, attached to this little piece of paper, we have some calling cards for fabric manufacture, and some die cut from Tim Holtz, a book page, and on the back it was actually like a stationery paper, vintage one. Then on this side we have a little pocket here, and just some antique French music book page, and some other book pages. This one is taken from La Vie à la Campagne, so Life in the Countryside magazine. Some collages. Here it's a vintage wine label, and these are authentic stamps. Then I have these beautiful like postcard page holder page and I recently put some for sale on my Instagram shop if you're interested. So here you could cut these apart, use them in other projects, and just tuck some of your photographs, postcards, anything. And on this side we have a little tuck here, and just it's an illustration of an old tapestry, and I thought it was beautiful colors. So this is a book page. Then we have an antique one here. These are songs, some fun golden doily, and just a little handmade card. Next here we have, this can open up, so you can decide to tape it here, or just even tear this apart to create, I don't know, tuck spots, or maybe journaling cards, whatever you want. And then we have this piece of cardstock, Christmas cardstock from the Graphic 45, the brand, some ephemera, and some vintage soda label, Petit Père. It's like little father, something like that. This is also like, it's a label. It's a label, but it's from like a bottle of beer. And also I washi this little antique postcard, Christmas postcard. This you can remove. It's just for you to play around with. This is actually this is a printable from Cassie at Dusty Roses. I just clipped, you know how they clip different documents back in the days with these little pins, and so I did the same and added these like share stock pieces. I don't know how you call that, but I think you know what I mean. And actually on the back, I didn't like the back of this paper because I printed it on some regular, like some plain book page, some with writing and nothing really interesting on it. So I just covered it with this really light paper, and I added another piece from the Ephemera book. These beautiful ladies. It's so beautiful. Here it says, pour être bien chez soi, to be comfortable at home. So, and in the theater, yeah, it's so interesting. And a piece of ephemera. It's actually, it's an advertisement for some sort of a medicine. And on this side we have, this is part of a book about how theaters were constructed back in the time. So that was interesting. And we have, these things are actually stapled. You can remove the staple if you'd like to use them in your project. But this acts as a little tuck, and there's some ephemera here, some tickets, stamps, and this is again just well, you can see here, this is the cover of the antique magazine that I was talking about, La Vie à la Campagne. I just love this piece, and I added some sari trim. There's so many things. I'm so sorry if you're bored already. I'm trying to go fast, but you know, it's it's difficult to find the words in English and stuff. So here, again, stapled, but you can remove the card. This is a vintage card. I thought the illustrations were pretty, and I just did some collages as always and stapled this little bow here. These are tucks and vintage tickets. On this side, these things are glued on, so you have a stamp. This is actually an antique like cosmetic label, and I believe I have more in my shop right now if you'd like to buy a set. Some very thin paper with some leaves inside. I did emboss some really thin gray paper as well for your collages. And we have a vintage American envelope. So some writing space. This was the first, you know, the first page of music score book. Here, this was a part of a photo album, and so these are the photographs. And on the back, I just glued the side of this piece here, so you can, if you're gentle enough, I think you can remove that and use it somewhere else. But it's nice because it acts as a tuck. And this is some really nice thick paper ephemera. This is an advertisement for a stationery store. On this side, on this side we have, how does it work again? Okay, so I did sew a few magazine page here together, and yeah, made it so they would feel like one page. I don't know if it makes any sense, but I did sew here 2 pages of a vintage French magazine, and then and then I did attach those 2 pages with another page on the other side, you know, like so it makes 1 page. So just added some ribbons here. It's vintage, some photographs. This is a part of a book that I have about how to receive guests, you know, and so you have, this is something you can feel, and it says menu and people that you're inviting, the wines and decoration that you're planning to do. So that could be nice to add for your Christmas journal, for example. And we have this photograph. This is taken from a book, and you actually have the other side if you'd like it, if you like it better. And just a little piece of ephemera, and I added some lace, a button, and a little dangly thing. So it was cute. So that just goes in here. Next we have, there's a big pocket here, and inside I tucked a little handmade, you know, booklet, and there's like, what is, okay. There's like a few ephemera tucked inside, so, and some old papers of all kinds, like book pages and writing paper, graph paper, and I added some clippings and small ephemera inside throughout. Here are two Chinese calendar page that I got in a Happy Mail. Added them because we're almost to the new year and it's red. Just an antique book page. Then we have, this is a magazine, and I think you all recognize this magazine. This is an embroidered magazine, so if you open it up you have some patterns and some you know, some designs, embroidery designs. So that's vintage. It's from 48. And here's just a little tuck thing with a few papers to play around with, and you know, just for your collages. This is also glued on the side here, so you can tuck things here. And this is a note, a handwritten note from 1917. It's French and beautiful. Another part, another book, like postcard holder page that comes from another album, and I added two beautiful antique French postcards. Some book page. Here we have some sari trim, a little Victorian die cut, a little tuck spot here with some vintage check, and a little receipt with the stamp. I added some seam binding on this beautiful piece of trimming, and so you can use that for your project, of course. And there's a tuck here as well with some book page. So as you can see, there's a lot of things you can remove and use in your own project. This was really meant to be like some sort of supply book for you to, you know, just take things out and use for your own projects. And then you have, of course, you have the journal, and you can fill it with your own stuff. There was a piece of ephemera here, but I'm not going to take it off. And this is a plate. This is a book plate. It's beautiful thickness to it. I love it. It's so smooth and thick. I don't know. You'll see if you purchase this journal. There's some beautiful papers, and this is a vintage ledger, and just an illustration plate from Redoute, and I just did a little collage here, as well as I did take this piece of old, you know, like writing notes booklet, and I just clipped again a few things. This is, I'm not sure if it's the last, I hope it's the last signature, I think it is, but this is the middle, and on this side I did some, well, just a collage, and this is a flower that I pressed myself, and actually I did use some adhesive like paper, and this idea I got from Irina from Meditative Scrapbooking. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I will put her link down below. On this side we have Again, some book pages here. And we have a letter from 54, again with this gorgeous handwriting. An antique postcard with those angels. And this one is actually written in Italian, so this is an Italian postcard. And we have another one of my favorite Instagram shop. It's Chris from Village Art, right? I don't think that's how you pronounce it again, but I will put her link as well down below. And sometimes she has some sales with handmade goodies, and I love her postcards so much. And actually, I'm just going to show you quickly. I just recently got a new collection of postcards that I bought from her shop, and look at these. It's so pretty, and you can actually, like, she provides envelopes with these, and I actually added one here. And you can, it's like a small booklet, like a notebook. It's not even a postcard. She's added a few pages inside and made these beautiful collages. On this side, I did, well, I'm not gonna take this part, but there's like a collection of advertisement that I cut from a vintage art book. And so you can remove them from this and, you know, back them with some paper and make them as journaling cards. It's really up to you. An antique administrative acts, but this is dated from 1827. So some book page here, and just some interesting paper and textural paper. A vintage playing card, Christmas playing card, and beautiful illustration here. A piece of an artwork from Monet. Napkin. On this side we have this was the cover of a score book, music score book, and so I just did some French papers, scrapbooking paper that was tea-dyed, I believe. Some sari trim here, and there was this beautiful, is it antique? I don't remember. It's from 1914. Okay, and then next, this is the other side of this large ledger page, and I believe this, yes, it's the last page. So I just tacked a collection of like recipe and food related items, and I think it's suitable for Christmas. And well, you have piece of a doily, Christmas doily, paper doily, and playing card, a recipe card. This is some recipe as well, and it's so fun because it actually smells like, yeah, it smells, well, it smells like old things, but it also has like a little vanilla smell to it. A very, very old one, but still it's fun. Some recipes, French recipes, again, another book of French recipes, and these recipes are for cooking with chickens and rabbits and this kind of meat. I don't know how you call that. But so there's that. There's this I got from Poso Love a while back. I don't know, I think it looks like stationery, but it also looks like it is some sort of ad for maybe some beer? I don't know. And then we have other pieces, like other cooking book pages. And here you have, actually, it says that you can write here the good restaurant addresses that you know. So I thought it was fun to include. What else? Okay, another piece of ephemera. And also, I love to tuck different piece of papers, just for, you know, to feel the things and see the difference between the things. And this, actually, I thrifted a whole lot of these vintage papers, and it looks like graph paper. And I just added a lot of sheets for you to play around with and back your journaling cards, or, you know, whatever you want to do with this. Last page. This is, so the back of this very nice ledger paper. And I added a dictionary, like an antique encyclopedia page. And here I stitched some library. It's not called library card, it's called something else, but, well, you know what it is. And this is a piece of a vintage French doily. And this is some, you may recognize the wallpaper that I used to cover part of the cover, the journal cover. But this, I just backed it with some handmade paper. And here's the back, and there's just some papers that, again, I did glue just part of it, so it's, you know, it's just flying around. I kind of like that. And this is the back. And oh my god, I'm so sorry it took so long to film this. I believe it will be like almost an hour to see the whole book. But it is a chunky book. So I hope you enjoyed the flip, although it was so long. I'm so sorry about that. But I feel it's the first time that I'm creating like such a big book, and with so much supplies in it. So I felt I had to take time to actually show you every single pieces. But I hope you enjoyed it. From now on, I don't know if you've noticed, even in my last, like the previous videos that I put up on YouTube, I'm trying to explain, to give a little more, like a better explanation of what I'm putting inside my journals. Like, I want to show you where the things come from, and I know it makes the video longer, but I really, like, lately I feel that I'm lacking this kind of depth in my videos, and I don't know if you see what I mean. And I've also been watching some beautiful channels and artists, and they inspire me so much to kind of dig into the history of things, and not just put them and, you know, put them out and just sell them as they were, you know, normal piece of paper. So yeah, I hope you have a nice day, and I will be back. I don't know when, because this is going to be one of the last projects for this year. But I will have other sales, maybe one or two, I'm not sure. But I'll let you know on Instagram, so be sure to follow me here if you don't already. And yeah, I hope you have a great week and a great Thanksgiving. And yeah, see you guys soon.